quick review of the iPhone 7 Plus in 2022. It's basically going to be a very similar video to what I did with the iPhone 8 Plus, and a lot of what I say about the 7 Plus will apply to the standard 7 with a few differences. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the design, chuck up some photos so you can have a look, see how it performs photo-wise, and then just talk about performance and whether it's a good idea to buy the iPhone 7 Plus in 2022. Okay, so before I start this video, I just want to do a bit of a correction on my part. Now, about a month ago, I did a 2022 review video on the iPhone SE from 2016, and in that video I said that it was released at the same time as the iPhone 7 Plus, but in fact it was actually released about 6 months earlier, back in the March of 2016. So just want to clear that up because I just found out that that was incorrect on my part, so apologies for that. But again, back to the iPhone 7 Plus. Now this was released in September of 2016 alongside the standard iPhone 7, and it came with a couple of improvements over the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus series from the year before, mainly the performance from the A10 Fusion processor, and then you've got a dual camera system on the iPhone 7 Plus. So let's just begin with the display. So you get the same 5.5 inch display that you would find on the iPhone 6s Plus from the year before. Same 1080p resolution, 60Hz refresh rate, because of course high refresh rate displays weren't really a thing back then. And then at the bottom of the display you get your home button, which Apple redeveloped to not be a physical button but to use haptic feedback, and it was pressure sensitive, so you could, it's obviously used for your fingerprint sensor, and then you could double tap it for various things, bringing down the display. It was nice innovation from Apple to develop this home button to do various different things rather than just going back and bringing up your recent apps. And then at the top you've got your selfie camera and then your speaker. Now, new with the iPhone 7 series, they introduced stereo speakers to both devices, so that was a nice improvement to the sound quality coming from those speakers. And in terms of the rest of the design, most of it was very much the same. So you got your power button and sleep wake button on the right, and your volume buttons on the left with your mute switch at the top as well. And then at the bottom you've got your bottom firing speaker and your lightning port. And one thing that Apple did do, which did shock the industry I think a little bit, was to remove the headphone jack. And then of course, as we know, most manufacturers have followed suit. And then on the rear you get a dual 12 megapixel setup, up from just a single 12 megapixel setup that you found on the 6s Plus. So they introduced an f2.8 12 megapixel telephoto camera alongside the newer f1.8 12 megapixel sensor as well. So the camera was vastly improved over the 6s Plus, mainly by using a wider f1.8 aperture over the 2.2 found on the 6s Plus, and it was an all-new sensor with a 6-element lens and optical image stabilization as well. So a lot of improvements to the camera was made over the 6s Plus. Now internally you get 2 gigabytes of RAM and 32, 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage on the standard iPhone 7, and then the 7 Plus was the same storage, but the RAM was boosted to 3 gigabytes, which is the same as what they did on the 8 and 8 Plus as well. And in terms of performance, you get Apple's A10 Fusion chip, which was a 16 nanometer processor, which improved in a lot of ways over the A9 processor from the year before, improving graphics performance and CPU performances by 30, 40, 50% and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of great improvements on the iPhone 7 Plus over the 6s Plus. And for those of you interested in Geekbench scores, I've got the iPhone SE first generation and the iPhone 7 Plus. Now as you can see, the A10 Fusion has pretty decent upgrades over the A9 processor inside the iPhone SE. Now Apple promised 40% CPU improvements and 50% GPU improvements over the A9 processor inside the SE and of course the 6s and 6s Plus. So pretty good improvements. How has it been for me to use? It's been absolutely fine. Touch ID works absolutely fine. The cameras have been really good. I'll put some cameras at the end of the video so you can have a look to see what you think and how it performs. One thing, now I have bought this iPhone 7 Plus second hand online, and what I have noticed is that they've what appears to have put a third party screen replacement on this 7 Plus. because if I pick up my iPhone 8 Plus, I don't know where it's gone, but the colour saturation is very different on the 7 Plus. It's much more muted, it's very dull, whereas on the 8 Plus it's much more saturated. So that's one unfortunate thing I have found with this 7 Plus in particular, but I imagine bog standard, brand new 7 Pluses, if you're ever likely to find one these days, will have obviously the normal screen. Now the 7 Plus comes with around a 2900 milliamp battery, so that's enough to get you through a day of sort of medium use. If you start taxing it a lot with the camera and gaming and all that sort of stuff, then I imagine you could probably easily kill it in a day. Now I bought this with a battery health of around 85%, so battery endurance on this unit hasn't been particularly great. And for those of you that have watched older videos of mine, I've mentioned before that when I'm at work, for some reason battery life on my iPhone 12 is never really that great. A lot of it I think is to do with my phone looking for signal for the majority of the day, because my signal is really crap where I work. And at the end of a relatively long day until about 5 o'clock, I think I finished at around 30% on the iPhone 7 Plus. So when you take into account when I get home and I'm using the phone for a bit when I'm at home, etc., it's easily killable in a day, and I didn't even use it that much. So that's one thing to bear in mind, that you will find that the battery endurance, especially if you get one with a battery health of below 90% or so, you will see a decrease in performance. But other than that, I've been pretty impressed with the iPhone 7 Plus. It's still a really premium feeling device, like I said about the iPhone SE as well, which is still probably one of my favourite iPhones to date. I love the compact design, it's just a great phone. But we're not here to talk about the SE. 7 Plus, really nice design, nice and premium feel, nice addition with the dual camera system. So if you are coming from a phone that's older than the 7 Plus, obviously this is going to be an upgrade. But in terms of buying it in 2022, if you can find it cheap enough, I mean, I think I paid about 150 quid for this one, and this has got 128 gigabytes of storage. It was classed as grade A, and I would say it's pretty grade A. There's only a couple of little marks on it, so it's not been that bad at all. That's a pretty good price. But if you can push a little bit more, if you are looking for an older refurbished iPhone, push for an iPhone 8 maybe, or even an iPhone 10 sometimes you can pick up for less than 200 quid, and I think that would definitely give you better performance and better camera performance as well. So, but let me know in the comments what you think of the iPhone 7 Plus. Like I said, I really like the design. Although it's of course dated with these giant bezels around the outside, it is still a really nice device. But like I said, let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you for watching. I have got videos of other iPhones and I'll leave them down in the description as well, so be sure to take a look at those if you're interested in other older iPhones. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping